Hey guys, I was just watching one of IamBaal's most recent videos talking about how he keeps a slush fund for emergency situations around, which is a darn good idea. There are many times when cash will come in very handy. For example, here in Washington State, a few years ago, we had this massive, insane snowstorm with branches that were like covered with ice falling out of the trees and breaking off power lines and stuff, and then power went out and the gas stations couldn't pump the gas, and stores were going closed because they couldn't keep the lights on, and then the stores that were able to keep the lights on, sometimes they couldn't scan credit cards and stuff. Cash machines wouldn't work. So basically people were just fucked unless they had cash. And even still, most gas stations couldn't even pump gas because they had no power. So having cash and having a few things around like food, fuel, a way to heat a little part of your house, like I've got a couple of these little propane buddy heaters, very handy. I've got one that's hooked up to a big 5-gallon, or I'm not sure, a big propane tank in the garage, and then I have one in the bathroom that I sometimes use for just a few minutes to bring the temperature up, so that the little electric heater can maintain it. Yeah, and then of course having a way to cook if the power goes out, and some kind of alternate power. I've got my alternate power system in the garage. I'm actually repairing it right now. I had the internal batteries go bad, but I'm going to get a new one very soon. And I've got other batteries, and I've also got a nice generator in the shed that I could fuel up, and if you have enough gasoline you can run the thing. And I could probably wire it in so that my furnace would actually run, so I could keep the house heated, because natural gas would probably still run even if we had like a big huge wintry apocalypse like we had a few years ago. So basically having cash is great. Important thing to have in situations where the banking system is temporarily closed. Cash will be king, and the banking system can be closed for you if you happen to be in a having a financial issue, or it can be closed for everybody if there's like a more widespread situation like power outages and stuff, or an earthquake or whatever. Second best thing to have is assets such as silver, and things like that are easily changeable into cash. We have here in Washington State, we're kind of lucky because silver and gold are not considered products. They're considered money, and as a result the sales tax doesn't apply, which is kind of strangely right-wing considering I live on the left coast, man. The Democrats rule this state. But anyway, it's kind of funny, but silver is not taxable as far as sales tax goes. So that saves you 10% every time you buy something. If I lived in a place that had sales tax on silver, I would probably buy from an individual. And when you do that, it's kind of important to be able to test it for yourself. Now, I don't actually know how you test gold, but silver, that's easy. What you do is you just bring your scale along with you to the coffee shop or wherever, and it's as long as it's over an ounce, you're probably good, and you have to do the magnet test as well. This is a neodymium magnet, pretty strong. You can get them on Amazon, but things that when you have something sliding at an angle, it moves fairly quick, right? But if you put it on a piece of silver, you can see how slow, comparatively, it slides down. And if you could find something metal that isn't silver, let's see, what do we got here? I was thinking, well, no, I think 50-cent pieces actually have a little silver. But anyway, things like aluminum or steel, the magnet will just stick to it. But basically, silver is the only metal, as far as I know, where it'll just sort of slowly slide like that, but not stick. So, that's what I would do if I lived in a place where silver was sales taxable. But another thing about preparedness and the prepper lifestyle is I've tried to explain how it saves money and how it gives you a lower stress life. But it's kind of hard to explain sometimes. In situations like this morning, for example, I went to my usual gas station when I went and picked up some groceries, and they were out of premium. Right, my usual gas station gives me like 5% off when I buy with their Visa card. That's why I got the Visa card. Generally, I don't really collect Visa cards. And when I do have a Visa card, it's the ultra low frickin' interest. Those are the ones where they don't, when you get a notice in the mail saying, hey, we got a Visa card for you, don't apply for those. Google around online for low interest Visa cards or MasterCards, and then they generally are from smaller banks, and you can write them directly or apply online. And if you've got the credit rating for it, you might as well benefit from it and get a low interest rate, like 5 or 6%. That's roughly the neighborhood where I pay. But yeah, you spent all these years building that credit rating, might as well use it, you know. So basically, the gas station was out of the gas that I like, which is usually premium, and so I just drove home. And instead, I will take one of my 5-gallon cans and dump it into the car, right? And then, in probably coming home from work on Monday, I'll stop by, which is on the way, and I'll pick up, I'll top off my car there and fill up the can, and add to my gasoline. So, in a horrible wintry apocalypse situation like we had a few years ago, having gas on hand is real handy, because those gas stations could not pump gas. Some friends of mine had to abandon their car and walk when they ran out of gas. So, preparedness, gasoline, good times. Another thing, money. Money is your life. Every hour that you spend at work, you get a certain amount of money after the government takes a bunch of it. And what you have in your hand from your hard work, that is, you can never get those hours back. Once you spend that 8 hours at work, that part of your life is gone forever. And if you don't respect your money, the money that you gain from your paychecks and whatnot, you might as well just be cutting hours of your life out of your life, just like cutting pieces out of yourself just tossing it right in the garbage because it's your life. So why not get the most value you can out of it? I know it sounds kind of prudish and old-fashioned, but why not get the most value out of your life for yourself? For example, when I'm going to cook a chicken tonight, and when I'm done, I will cut all the meat off and throw it in a separate container, and then I will cook what's left, and then cook it down to soup, and then scoop all the bones out, put the meat back into the soup, and I might put rice or quinoa and rice in there, and make chicken and rice, and then I will put that in my lunches all week next week. And that is a way of reclaiming extra value out of the chicken that you purchased, right? And today, my dad and I went to our favorite Eat Till You Puke restaurant, and I got a special coupon book for it, and we got in for like buy one lunch, and then the second lunch is $1. That's a deal. And basically, that saves your life. Every dollar you can save and recycle and plow back into your life creates more value for your life. And in time, you'll be able to do things like paying off debt, acquiring some kind of property, and do what I did, and paid off my condo in 11 years because I didn't really trust the stock market, and then when it was paid off, I bought this house, and now I have a feminist living there, and I make a profit of $408 a month after all of the expenses associated with the place, right? So, due to the divorce laws and all of the horrible family court bullshit, she has not found a husband. And as a result, instead of paying to support somebody just like her, instead, she is paying me, right? So, it's kind of unfortunate for her, but man, she should have planned better. If you have the means, I would highly recommend getting some kind of place. I mean, if you're in a condo, if you're in an apartment right now, and you don't have any plans on living anywhere but an apartment, you could probably buy a condo that's comparable, and then you could take the tax deduction on the mortgage every year and reclaim some of that money, and then every extra dollar that you had laying around, you could just dump a percentage of that into the mortgage, and then pretty soon, boom, you're living there mortgage free. And the time, if you're a young man, you just don't see it. You don't, 10 years from now seems basically like infinity, but it's not. Trust me, I'm almost 50. And you got two wallets in your life. You got time and you've got money. You pull time out and you convert it into money, and you can never get that time back. So, be as efficient as possible with that money. So let's see. Anyway, then once you've paid those things off, like in 2010, I had that shit paid off, and I had so much money, it was just freaking bonkers, man. I was living on 30% of my take-home pay without even trying, and the rest of it was just piling up. Then I ended up putting a lot of that into the down payment on this place, and now I own a lot more of this place than I would have if I had like one of those low down payment deals. But anyway, at the end of the day, every day I come home and I dump whatever coinage I have into these containers here. And this money, even if we had like a big shit hit the fan situation like Argentina did a few years ago, or Nazi Germany, or Weimar Republic Germany had, when a government revalues their currency, has a currency reset, like it happens all the time. Well, in Nazi Germany, they just revalued all the coins to the new currency. They didn't want to stamp all of these coins because it was a big expense. So the result is anybody who had a significant amount of coinage just laying around, they profited handsomely. So anyway, good idea to have money in the economy, which is great. Money that's part of the economy, like actual cash, and money which is not part of the economy. For example, these gold eagles. These are 10th ounce gold eagles. I prefer to have small denominations, right? For example, some people have 1 ounce rounds, but I will not own a 1 ounce chunk of gold. That is just too much money combined into one little package. This is much more easily transferred or traded or cashed in because this is only like $120 or something. So yeah, there you are. And yes, good idea to keep some cash around. Guns too, obviously. But basically, your money is your life. It's just a different form. And if you don't really respect your money, you're just going to be throwing it away. Over your life, you pull money out of one container, which is your lifespan, and you spend it, right? You spend it either on people, whether or not they deserve it, whether or not it's a good investment, or you spend it on time at work and turning it into money, funding the government and funding yourself, and then, dudes, you really do not want to waste it. Do what you can to get every ounce of value out of your money, and then after a while, money will be built. You'll notice money building up in your life, and then you won't be then basically you'll be able to convert it into assets and other instruments and property and that will generate income for you. And then when you're an old fart and you find yourself really in pain, you might be able to retire a couple years early and create value for yourself in other ways, like gardening or doing, whatever you want to do. So, yeah, your money is your life. And so I guess that's about it. Later.